Hi everyone, today we're going to paint my doodle board. So this doodle board, I actually made it months back, but it has been a very long time that I've touched this doodle board, and this doodle board has some of the parts already covered, but there is a lot of other doodles that we need to color too. So we're going to begin with one by one. We need to going to fill the colors in the doodles that I've made. So I'm going to use these paints today, and these are cheaper paints, and this board is actually a frame board. I've just removed the board and the frame is away. We'll be painting it and we'll be adding it to the frame later. So now let's begin with one of the easiest ones. Maybe I don't know whether you could see the pencil markings here. I've already made the pencil markings here, and there is like white color added on the top of pencil markings, and underneath there is pencil markings here. So I'll be painting one by one. You could see a balloon here. Gonna fill that with color, as we have added pink to this balloon. Okay, this paint is getting wet again. Okay, we'll do with blues and reds. There's blue and there's red. Today I felt so much full of joy and curiosity to do something, because it has been a very long time that I've ever worked on any art pieces, and I've been making art for a very long time. That is not as a commercial artist, but to use my creativity to bring in life into my life, because my life is just as usual, just as any other people's life, and I usually would not share a lot of stuffs about my life generally. Today I chose to make a video speaking for the first time, and I expect myself to be calm and composed during this whole video timing, and I could speak with you guys. Generally, creative people must not, like, they may not always interact with people outdoor. They interact with people through art, through music, through games, but not always in a way of speaking directly. And if you ever met any creative person, the creative person would probably be someone who loves to paint, to stitch, to make something out of their hands. And all that you could expect from them during your birthdays and other special days would be some craft that they would love to make for you people. So that's how creative people talk, that's how they express their love. And today that I have put myself together to talk to you people, I just love to draw, I just love to paint, I just love to be creative. But the fact is, our lives are really so busy, and the busyness of our life is actually pulling us away from the creative art that we are pursuing. And I would expect myself to be with a pencil and a pen to write all day, to do something all day, whereas our jobs, our life, everything is around things that we don't passionately pursue, but which is essential for our day-to-day lives. So our focus shifts towards something which is materialistic, more like that. We get very less time to pursue a creative hobby, and when you get very little time, even a very little time to pursue a creative hobby, I would suggest you to do it straight away, because you may not get a second opportunity because you'll not be this year old again in future. Adding to that, I want to share something which is happening in my life very often. So basically, I am a person who's following Christ. So I'm new to it. I'm completely new to following Jesus Christ and to his teachings. But every day, every time when I feel like I'm giving up, I need to give up like that. In such situations, I would prefer to give it into the Word of God. So, the Word of God often refers to the text in the Bible wherein I would love to read it. I would love to meditate on my Bible. I would love to go back to it and just get back to it to some level that I might forget what's very wrong with the world. So basically, it's like a meditation, a lifestyle change where you would preferably walk in the principle of Christ. So, if you are not a very spiritual person, if you have never heard someone talking about Jesus Christ and you're feeling awkward, why this person is bringing religious stuffs here, know that there are thousands of people on earth who don't know Christ, who don't see him, who don't know him personally. So I think they have missed a very lot of things in their life because when I was actually not knowing Christ, I think that I have missed a lot that I could have had even before in time. So now I feel like I'm fulfilled and I'm happier than the person I was. Why? Because I know Christ. What's knowing Christ? What's about knowing Christ? Knowing Christ is to know his words, to know his teachings, to know where he wants our hearts to be. There are thousands of things in the world to be chasing, to be running behind. But if you are unrushed, if you feel like happier, if you feel good by the way you are, you're already good, you're already satisfied, you're already happy. In that case, there will be very less amount of confusions involved, and you would be a very great person in terms of um, doing things. Because if something else is not making an impact in you, that means you are the impact. You are the impact. If somebody is initiating something in your life and just because they said something and you are going behind certain things, that would not be really good for you because that would not give you much of the happiness in a way. But whereas you know what you need, you know what you're doing, you know where you're going, in that case you will be more aware of what's happening. And I hope that Bible would always give us a very good awareness in terms of knowing what you're doing, where you're going exactly. And adding to that, Isava, that's how I call Jesus Christ. So him being God have made so much impact in my life where I have given 100% into him, his teachings. So I have been given with the word called as fruit of the spirit. I don't know how many of you are aware of it. If you are a Christian person from the very young age, you would have had a very good knowledge about the fruit of the spirit. But I don't know how much of us are really focusing on the fruit of the spirit because today our goals are to become millionaires, billionaires, to earn a lot of money, to be rich, to be famous, to be inexcusably. I didn't bring the term by the way. So the whole time the goal is to be rich. Richness is the goal today. But Bible says the goal of humankind is to produce fruit because the very first time when God called Adam and Eve, in their garden, God made them and asked them to be fruitful. That is the first word that God said to Adam and Eve. So He didn't ask to love one another, He didn't ask to be forgiving, He didn't ask to be rich or make children. He said, be fruitful. Fruitful has a whole big definition in the other parts of the Bible as well. So, the fruit of the Spirit speaks about patience, joy, self control, and much more. If you have Google, just go ahead and search what's the fruit of the Spirit that is being referred in the Bible so that you may get an idea on it. So, the fruit of the Spirit is the most essential thing Jesus Christ wants us to be focused on. And that is the first thing that He asks the mankind to be um, focusing on. So He said, be fruitful. And the fruitful term didn't appear only in that place but also in every other places of the Bible. So every time when Jesus and his disciples were being tempted by the devil, he always used the words in the Bible and rebuked the Satan. And this is a part of fruitfulness as well. So a person as a gardener would keep a tree which is fruitful. He would not go for a tree which is not much of fruitful. Like he should either get fruits from it or some other benefits from it. If it's not useful for him, he's gonna remove the trees from his garden, and that is the same thing that Jesus Christ speaks about. A gardener would remove his trees if he doesn't want it, because if it is not fruitful he need not have to keep it further. So that's how Jesus Christ also states about his people. So as a tree, he compares us with a tree, whereas we shall be fruitful in a way that we give the expected thing. And I would go ahead and think about the Spirit, which is the Holy Spirit of God, and the fruit of the Spirit. So, fruit of the Spirit is referred to as the Spirit of God Himself, and the activities, like not the activities, but our values, our character, which is built around the God's Spirit. So God Himself came onto earth to help us in the form of Jesus Christ. I call him Asapa. Not just He did that, He stayed with us in a different period of time and He started to teach His people to do this, do that, not to do this, not to do that. He healed a lot of people. He performed a lot of miracles as well. And during the whole time, He always focused on one thing, that is forgiveness for the mankind. He came here to preach not only the Bible, not only the Word of God, but a very more important thing, which is love. He wanted us to love one another. He wanted us to be forgiving to one another. He wanted us to be friendly to one another. He said, if you have an enemy and he is hitting you on your right cheek, show your left cheek as well. So that doesn't say that to be less of competent, but it was to sorry for that. So he came to teach love. Why love? Because that is what is missing in the humankind. People themselves have been so different in the different period of times, and God Himself wanted us to love one another, not because He wanted to direct us into something, but so what I was saying. came here to teach love, to preach love, to give the definition of love. So he always focused on loving one another, being kind to one another. He always wanted everybody to be his. He didn't ever feel like I don't know you, I don't belong to you at any point in time. He always have greeted everyone. He always hailed anybody without any restrictions except for one woman who was someone who was not related to him. And that woman wanted healing for her son. And he stated, if I have bread for my children, would I put it for dogs? And that was literally so different. But he said he came here for a very specific reason, and that is what he was explaining there. Yeah. So, if you ever get a chance to know about Christ, to know about his teachings, to know about who he is, who he was, what he was doing on earth, and all of the stuffs, please go ahead, read about him more, because I think we have got one lifetime to explore a lot of different paths, right? So, if you ever get time to know about Jesus Christ, go ahead, because we are all humans with some kind of inabilities to do certain things in our life. And if you are like not faithful but at least curious, please go ahead to learn about Christ, where he is going to give you thousands of stuffs to continue to believe in him and follow him, because that's how I found him and I'm walking with him. I'm new to Christianity. I am from a non-Christian background, but there were very difficult situations in my life which led me to Christ. And I think if I ever, never, ever had that situations in my life, I would have never met Christ. And I'm forever grateful for going through all of those stuffs, because or otherwise I would have never found such a great love that has been kept for me for years, like for thousands of years, that was been waiting for me. And I'm so glad to know Christ. I hope that little bit of talk helped you in order to understand what is Christ for me and what he could be for you, right? So, with that, Christ is a loving person, and I love Christ. And I hope you also would get to experience the love of God, which is very essential for all of us. Okay, I've covered this part. We have a leaf here. We go ahead to paint the leaf with certain colors like these. I've not added a lot of lights today because I didn't want to put up a full studio setup, because this is going to be my me time, my personal time, where I use this time as my joyful time, where I shall sit, draw, and be patient with me without being rushing, without being like so focused. And you people are being a part of this time, because I think it will help you too. You may get your oh I'm really sorry for that. That was actually one sales that's happening. It's like thrifting. Basically, they would come to your homes to thrift your stuff that you don't no longer need. So they'll take it away and they'll rebrand it and would sell it again. So they would do thrifting that way. Like they would be asking for your old stuffs, where they would be, yeah, they would make it new and sell it again as new ones. Can we do red and yellow or red and blue? Blue and red. Okay, we'll try blues and sandal for a little bit of color mix. Okay, I took a lot of color though. I don't know whether you see it or not. I recommend you people to find at least 1 hour a day to spend quality time with yourself and your hobbies, because I think this is something that keeps us alive from within. We have always been a very hard working person throughout, and we never gave up on our dreams at any point, and we always stood with ourselves, right? But what about the little child in you, little baby in you, which wants to see the world in its eyes, not in someone else's eyes? So basically, people tend to take up advices so seriously when it is from successful people and older people. We all consider older people as successful people because they've got it all sorted out, they've got it all settled. And we think, oh, they have it sorted, they have it all settled. So in that case, you're going to be more successful compared to us. So we generally tend to take advices from such people, and that has never been indifferent for us. But whereas if we take ourselves as the subjects, we would think we're not that good, we're not that better yet, right? And that's because we look down at ourselves. But what I suggest is that even though we are not good enough, we have not figured it all out at this young age, I think it's it's not too serious to be always focused and always chasing. We can have some of me time, like time in which you can just get your coffee, or like not always coffee but sometimes any other drinks that you prefer, and have a little book that you love to read, and little garden or park, something like that, and continue to do your hobbies. So your hobbies makes you feel more alive than your 24 hours job. You would work for 9 hours a day, 15 hours a day, 24 hours a day. So even if you couldn't find like 1 hour, 2 hour a day, I would still suggest you to take up some amount of time from your busy schedule to pull yourself into art, music, and craft, because maybe even though you have one full day of 24 hours, you would still get only 15-20 minutes to be happier. And that shall not always be spent on your mobile phone. Your mobile phone and your reels that you laugh at is not only the only happiness that you have. You can still go ahead and figure out new hobbies, figure out new languages, figure out new things to do. Because if you are continuing to do something that fascinates you, that's how you continue to be alive. And alive is not just breathing, but to live in the moment, to live with no apologies. And now I think we can use the same blue color here that we have made here, the rainbow too. Mhm. So the good part about this artistry is that we have doodles. We can use the colors anywhere we want. Like we have multiple other pictures, so we did not have to waste our color. Now we'll go to somewhere here. The camera. I don't know whether you people see camera here. Here is the camera. So this day is a very patient and peaceful day for me. I hope it is the same for you people. And I would suggest this is your sign to open your old art craft books that you used to use. Just look through it, how far you've come, What made you to stop pursuing art? What was telling you to give up on art? What was actually pushing you through into a different path? What it really gave didn't give you time to pursue art? I know it's all the math for us. The math that we pursued for our skill in life was the thing that took away all of the art that we had. Because that's for me, I am a very curious person. I would go ahead to learn multiple stuff at the same time. I would go around and hike and do jumping and all of stuff. I would dance, I would sing all at once. I would paint, I would create all at once. But as I grew up, I grew into an adult that is very serious about life, where I had to focus on my job for 9 plus hours. Not just that, focusing on job not just means that you are a good worker, you are a focused worker stuff. No, job is going to take away all of your energy, and job is going to say that okay, you didn't do this, you're incapable. You didn't make it, you're incapable. You didn't get promoted, you're incapable, and stuff like that. But I would say a very big no to all of it, because job is not the only thing that is going to define who you are. Whereas your creativity, your love for nature, your love for God, your love for pursuing something pretty personally, all of these also matters. So if you think somebody is far better than you, somebody is far greater than you, always also think that they were somewhere, somehow was like you. They didn't just hop into what they are today, but they paused, reflected, thought of what can work good for them, give up on gave up on certain stuffs that was pushing them down or pulling them away from what they wanted to pursue. It's not like always people will be successful only in math and science, but also there are a lot of people who are successful in art and crafts too. I'm not a very successful person yet, but I think one day I can move towards that successful person soon. I don't know when, but sometime sooner. Okay, so someday, somehow, we all will find who we were supposed to be in the future. But I think one move at a time, one step at a time, is going to make a very great difference, though. I suggest you to pursue anything that is your heart is literally thriving for, crying for, okay? Because if you are not doing, who will come to do it for you? If you are not moving, who's going to move it for you? If you don't show interest in what you want, who will say you need to pursue it, you need to do it, you need to do that? Nobody's here to motivate you, nobody's here to say that you are good at it, you are good at this, that stuff, until you prove them you're very good then in other people. So before results, nobody see the victory that you are thriving for. But once you get the victory that you are thriving for, once you get the joy, once you get the success, everybody will be around you. Everybody will be asking you, how did you make it? How did you do it? How did you chase it? And there you shall speak. Until then, don't do the speaking stuff, because the more we speak, the more stupid we will sound. But the more that we act, the more powerful we will be, because we have more of the speakers and less of the real actors who act in the situation rather than just speak it out. I hope you saw that little flower. Yeah. Now there is a little sock here, but we didn't have the blues left for the socks, so we'll take some green. I don't know whether you could see this. I've took a lot of green now, so we're going to use it for many other pieces right now, many other doodles too. Okay, so here's our color. I hope you see it now. This is our color. Very little color, but I think this is so much for our little doodles. I take green and some of the white sandal color for our sock, because socks would be something mute in colors, right? I don't know whether you see it. I think you see it. Okay. Let me create some waves kind of stuff, like shapes in it, so that there would be more detail. It's very basic socks. Here we're adding green lines. And this sandal here. And the shoe. Okay, what is this? I don't know. The sole part and the foot part. I don't know why this is looking so crazily different, but this is how I have drawn it first. That is so funny now. I need to blend in something. Okay, so I'll just blend the colors so that it will not seem odd. It's more odd now. Actually, I've added more water to blend the colors in so that it won't seem so different. Now I think a bit better. Actually, blue would have suited more well for this piece, right? I hope the same. Okay, I think we need to have an outline for it in order to consider me, in order to make people believe it's a socks. Okay. Okay, let's me use this color for other pieces so that here we have a little flower. I don't see any color now. Okay, as far as we are doing it better. That's good. Yeah. And for these colors, we don't have much of other art things to pay color in it. So I'm going to add some darker green to it in order to use the color mixed. So I'm taking some darker green, huge amount of darker green, and blend it in. And we're going to use it for certain stuff. So I see a Christmas tree here. I'm not going to finish it so perfectly because this is going to be a tree with leaves, right? So let me blend it in a way that it has strokes of leaves too. And some greener green here. The thing is, when you add more darker colors, make sure you're making lighter strokes, because that is going to show you a lot of difference. If you make it a harder stroke, that is going to make it look like how to explain, it'll seem as if we have painted it all over, whereas we will not see more of the base color that we have added already. Here I see watermelon. That is getting funnier though. I'm not serious here, I'm just funny here, you know. How people feel like this girl is actually making some efforts. If you feel like we need to support her for some reason, for not for like she's so good, so perfect, no, at least for some reason that she's doing something. For that reason, please go ahead and subscribe and like so that I will get it even more good in further videos. Here, this is done, and here still we have little bit of things to be completed. Oh, I'm doing it all funny this time, but it's okay. We need to be funny for ourselves, right? Okay, now that we have very few color involved. Oh, really? Sorry, not painted on my t-shirt by mistake. Like I placed my brushes on my t-shirt. Oh, creating a lot of mess today. It's okay. Maybe this is my first time on camera. So, like not even in front of camera, but still, I'm a bit of nervous today. Please don't mind. I think now we're gonna directly use the color onto the part. I'm not gonna mix it anymore because that mixing is taking so much of waste. I think a lot discovered today, but very few is more. Um, Now we're gonna use the yellow for certain things. Firstly, on the flower, bigger brushes are quite not many fun, but still, we cannot change the brushes in the middle of doing it, right? I don't know how many of you can agree with me. We'll make a yellow line here. There is already a heart with such a head. I don't find it here though. Let's slowly pull it together. Let us also use this here and here and here and here because this is actually a light torch. I think we can use that color a little bit here because to create some difference, a torch and a light should be different, right? So we'll use some of the greens next for the top of the torch and a bit of milk, please. Now this is done, so I need to put some light strokes for the torch. I don't find it to be a torch though. Okay. We do the blue then. Here. To make it as a torch together. Yes, almost. We have stars and moon involved too, so we need to do some yellows, right? Yellows and whites. I hope the people like it. Okay, that's like something burning. Okay, anyway, that's so good. Now for the moon, I'm going to use a whiter shade, a little bit here. There's some yellow stains in my brush. So that's gonna be more cool. Okay. Mm, yeah, almost done. Now the stars. We need to be more careful because the stars have sharper edges and we need to make it sharper. Sometimes it may look blunt, but still we need to make it look like a star, right? Being a creative person, I would suggest you to be creative because I don't feel like there is any other good time that you could spend except creating. You made a lot of stuff, but when you make something when you love that it new, that's going to affect you in a very good way. That's one good thing we've done now. And we'll go to here. There's one more star that we need to cover. Wait a minute. So, star has been made here, right? Okay. Hmm. What else did we clean? Okay, I think almost we have made everything except this and this. So the next thing is we're gonna use some color here. For it, we need to do some red and yellow, I guess. Maybe some pinks too. I suggest you to use any color that you want. Like if you are going to draw a bouquet like it, use multiple colors to make one good color out of it. Because it's your art, right? Whom should I say? The pink and yellow itself is giving an orangish and reddish look. If we add more red, it'll be more red. So I'll stop here and I'll start painting. Because of having a darker outline, we can just directly paint it because the flowers are indifferently going to be visible. And further, if you want to make it more darker, you may go ahead and draw it with pencils with outlines. Okay, and some of the greens on the bouquet to add some layers. Good. Now it's better. I think we have missed one more star. That is here on the top. So the next thing is we're gonna make a star there on the top with a tinier brush though. Okay. Oh my! I'm sorry. It fell down. Hope you didn't see all of the mess that's happening in the background. And with very few more strokes and lines, I'm going to end this video here because there are kids waiting out there for me to play with. Neighborhood kids, not mine. Not mine yet. Oh, a little bit of star here. That is not actually looking star though. It's okay. It's okay for some time. It's okay for some time. Now the browns. Bounce, 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 bounce. Okay, round's done. Start to add some. Actually, the star is not starring, so I added some strokes so that it would play more like star, at least with that way. And I'd use this color here. I had more detail now. Good, very good. The next thing is rainbow watermelon, and that's all. We have completed a very best part now. Do the watermelon first because basically we have hearts in the watermelon seeds. So heart shaped seeds are being drawn inside of it. So I think in order to make the heart shaped seeds up, we will use black because hearts are always red, right? But just because the watermelon is red, we cannot use the same color for the hearts as well. So in that case, we'll be using black. This is adding some more texture to the art. I think it's better to say this way. What do you think? It's better, yeah. And I'm going to use the red for this rainbow, which is unfinished. Also, we have some of the clouds part. I think I've done all what I've started to do. There are very few more things to be done. Go ahead with black, a little bit of black, and do the stars. I don't know, I hope you turn out to sorry, hearts. Yeah, one heart planted nicely. Another heart is getting ready. Another heart is coming in. Okay, these are actually representing the seeds on the watermelon. You can doodle your creativity in any way. You need not have to explain people like this is what it is, this is what is that. Okay, just go ahead and do whatever you like. The hearts have become bigger. Next is the rainbow's cloud. For it, we need to have blues, a little bit of blue, and a little bit of white to make the cloud. Basically, the sky is blue and the cloud is white. Just because we don't have white or bluish background, we need to make the clouds also blue. You can also see there is another cloud that is bluish white. That is just because we don't have a bluish background. Basically, if the sky is blue, the clouds can be white, but the sky of the boat is basically white. So in that case, we need to have a lot of blues to make it together, bring it together maybe. Nice. I think it's all done now. We have very more things to be done too, but hoping that you'll record it somewhere later. I am pausing here. I hope you had a very great time looking at me doing this little bit of artwork in my dual board. There is chocolate, key, boat, king's crown. That's something. There is a flower again, and a lot, many things: a carrot, ice cream, a bug, a coffee, a donut to be completed. And I think that we've completed a very large amount of stuffs. There's a little honeybee too, butterfly too. So we'll be doing it in the next video. Thank you so much for watching with all of your efforts and love. Because I was a very good mess throughout the video. I hope I made a little bit of effort to keep you entertained. Thank you so much.